Hello, hello, and welcome to the start of a new podcast, Master of None, created by me, the host, Kailash Madula. Now, I've never done a podcast before, so this is going to be my first try. We're going to see how everything goes, and I'm still trying to figure out intro music, how I'm going to get people on the show, all my ideas. But for right now, this episode is all about explaining the show and talking about my process here at CHS Sideline. Now, the way the show is going to go is I have a big list of topics that I'm going to invite people to come with on the show. So I'm going to invite special guests, other classmates, etc. at CHS, and we're just going to talk pretty much about any of these ideas. But the trick is I'm going to have a random number generator, and the random number generator is going to give out a number. That number is going to go on the list, and we're just going to talk about the topic. So, for example, if the number generator were to pick, say, 19, we'd be talking about the classes we have here at CHS. Number 4 is CNU itself. Number 12 is ping pong. We have a wide and broad list of topics for us to talk about. And if you ever want to be on the show, all you have to do is ask. If I can ever figure out how to get a Google Forms link on CHS, the CHS sideline page, then I'll try to do that. I'll also have like a CHS list for inserting new topics because I only have 25 and I know there's so much more we can talk about. This is a student opinion type of CHS project. So, yeah, this is pretty much going to be user oriented. This is pretty much going to be up to the students to decide how we go with this. So, I'm still trying to figure out how to get intro music. I'm still trying to figure out how to videotape myself and the guests if we ever have any, and I'm still trying to figure out how to record what's on the screen because there may be some things that we do here in the media room, some things we do at my apartment, some things we do probably at the BDX lounge, some things we probably do on a video game screen. It all depends. We'll be doing different things every episode, so don't feel attached to like one certain topic because we'll always be switching. There's always going to be something new that's going on. Today it's going to be mostly me being awkward because I'm all alone right now and this is just the inaugural episode. So don't be discouraged by this first introduction, and we're going to try to get on with the podcast. Like I said, I'm Kailash Madula. This is the podcast Master of None. So let's begin. I'm going to try out the random number generator myself just to give you an idea of how this is all going to go out. So, random number generator. We're just going to use Google for now. We're going to title it from 1 to 25. And let's go. Google says that the topic is number 14, which is one life story. Oh no. A life story. I guess I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I was there from like all the way until kindergarten, and then I moved to Florida. I had first and second grade there, and then I moved again to California. Came to Stockton. I went to a place I live in Stockton. I went to a place called Brookside Elementary. I had my third to sixth grades there. Then I went to Sierra Middle, seventh through eighth, and then Lincoln High School from 9 to 12. And then after that, well, I'm here, CHS, and I hope to go on to this, like, the med school here. I don't really have any plans past that. I know I want to be a psychiatrist, but that's the general thing. So why am I saying all this? Just because this is literally a podcast where you talk, where like if people want to get to know more about you, you can reveal yourself here, whatever. This is just a podcast to like relax and talk. This is student opinion. And I guess sometimes we'll be talking about like things we'll be talking about like ways to spend times, hobbies that you can pick up. If you ever feel interested in something like, I don't know, baking or cooking, this is the podcast that's going to be like, hey, this is something you could bake. This is something that might be fun to do. And the idea is that in later episodes, I'm going to have people pick a topic. It's going to pop up on something like cooking or baking, and then the podcast is going to be us cooking or baking. Like we'll take a video, we'll show everyone. Right now, it's just going to be audio based because, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing a podcast. So I'm really new to all of this. This is going to be my first time. I think in later episodes, I'm also going to pull up on my Instagram. I'm going to just do the live feed. That's not important for you guys to know right now, but it's just something for other people because I don't want just this to just be a CHS sideline thing. I want this to be a sort of like a lifetime thing, but I'm going to start it through CHS sideline. Now, CHS sideline, I may as well talk about that too. It's I did I when I joined in the summer, I sort of knew that it was around. I never really viewed the website. I didn't even know that there was a website until I accidentally clicked on it because I was on the homepage of the actual North California North State University website. I saw, oh, there's a website. I clicked on it and I saw, oh, there was a bunch of articles, there was recipes, there were food reviews, book reviews, movie reviews, all sorts of things. I saw there were also podcasts, which really interested me because I've always wanted to start a podcast, and I guess this was me going out and saying, hey, here's an opportunity to do a podcast. And the way you like get signed up to do a project at the CHS Sideline is really easy. So if any future people watching this podcast just want to know how to do a podcast or really anything, all I had to do was I went to one or two meetings. I talked to I think someone important, Josh Bajaj, if that's his name. I forget the last name, but yeah, Josh has been really helpful about all this. He introduced me to Dr. Davis and Dr. Ryder, and they both showed me the media room, which is actually a really nice setup. They have these blackboards for acoustics. They have the mic set up. They have headphones. It's its own like special room in like the research room at the new rented out building, and it's a really nice setup. They have a whiteboard and all sorts of that stuff. And if any, all you have to do is email them. Like I said, they'll let you know they'll ask you obviously, what are you going to do? And if it's something that's more like, I want to write articles, I want to draw art, you won't really need the media room. It's going to be more just, all right, turn in what you have, show that you did it, and you may want to write like a few things about it. It's mostly so that people outside of Sideline know what's going on in CNU, what people are doing, and also it's kind of like CNU is a new university. People have there is no like set culture or anything. It's not like a big shot school like UC Santa Barbara or UC Berkeley, where it's like, oh, if you go here, you have these certain traits. This is a special school that just says, hey, everyone is trying to be a doctor here, so that's all. That's the bandwagon we're jumping on. So there's so much potential to create a culture here, and CHS Sideline is just one of them that's being like more public. So if anyone wants to know, if anyone's trying to apply to the school, they just have to go on the website and go, oh, this is what the students of CHS are up to. This is how they spend their free time outside of academics and etc. So, like I said, you would want to talk to Ryder or Dr. Davis because they've been helpful to me as well. Like I said, the media room and all the jazz, and they're really understanding too. So, if ever a moment comes up where you think, oh, maybe I want to try making a podcast, maybe I want to try cooking or something crazy, then they're the ones to talk to. You can go onto your Outlook and you can email them, or you could try to find them during their office hours. There's no time at all where you'd feel like a disturbance or anything like that. So now that I've got approval from the administrators of Sideline, what do I do? What do you do now, right? That's the big question. What is my thing? What am I going to bring up to the table? And like I said, there's so much room to just do whatever like your heart wills you to do or anything like that. So there's there's no way you can mess up at what you are trying to do, you know. Like there's no one to tell you with that you're wrong unless you really are wrong. After all, there are some basic like guidelines to all this. Like you can't, I guess you can't talk about anything political, which I never intend to do. There's no profanity, which makes sense, but obviously there's some people that can't control themselves, and that's understandable. But past that, like it's a really understanding club, and it just feels good to be a part of it. You know, I haven't really talked to the other members yet as much, but I know that they all have their own schedules. They all have things that they're trying to do. They're out here making podcasts and articles, and that's good for them. And I decided that my thing is just I wanted to make a podcast. I wanted to get on I wanted to get on a microphone and just start talking, and hopefully try to do that with other people. And I think there's something to that just makes sense. Like you don't really have there's no like room to mess up when you're just speaking out your true feelings or what. So why did I decide to start so late in the game? Like, what is it? We're already like 8 or 9 weeks into the semester. Why did I want to do write it like right now? Well, first of all, if I'm telling the truth, like deadlines are coming up for like first assignments, and this is my first assignment to CHS sideline essentially. But I also knew that if there had to be like a time to start, and luckily like now I was able to get all the paperwork in. I was able to like understand what it is that I was going to bring to the table. So yeah, I guess having an assignment just helped me out. And then there was also the fact that Halloween is coming up, and like I felt like, oh, we should probably have an episode like on Halloween or near it, just to be like, ooh, it's Halloween. This is going to be a spooky podcast episode, etc. So yeah, there are my motives, plain and simple. I think there's like other reasons that I wanted to do it, like especially like now, but I just don't remember right now, and I am kind of tired. I did sleep at 3 a.m., which is another thing I'm known for, just sleeping at really late times, but that's not important. But anyway, just so you guys really get like the concept of the podcast, I'm just gonna do the number generator one more time. So it landed on three, and that's movies. And I guess this is a topic that would like you'd want to talk with like more people about because obviously I can't just be one guy talking about movies yet unless there's something to talk about regarding movies. But I guess what I can say is like my favorite movies. I've been really like I've been watching a lot of movies recently just because who doesn't like a good movie every now and then. I just rewatched Coco. I saw Princess and the Frog for the first time. Um, I saw Joker, which was a really good movie. Like I felt like everything just made sense in that movie, especially knowing that it was a standalone and they aren't trying to make more movies after that. But I guess if there's any movie I can call my favorite, I really, really like Wall-E. Like the movie, it's about a trash robot that finds a plant, and then there's a rocket ship from like this big space corporation spaceship called By and Large. And they send like this white robot, and the trash robot likes this white robot. And pretty much, I don't want to give too much away, but they pretty much the story just revolves around trash robot and white robot trying to fall in love while trying to save the human race from robots. Yeah, that's the. But yeah, it's a really interesting movie that for some reason I've always found myself rewatching. I love it for some. I think it's just the part that like there were robots, and I've never seen like robots in a movie. I was like around 8 or 9 when I first saw it, and I just fell in love with the idea of like the future and robots and how like some robots were designated to just like pick up trash while other ones are so futuristic and amazing that can fly and be really fast, etc. So if I had to talk about movies, I guess I would say that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. So that's pretty much the spirit of how the podcast goes. Just we're talking, and I get that it isn't like a stable form. It isn't exactly like a stable podcast in regards to the fact that how are you going to continue to make episodes just talking about random things? But that's the beauty of it. The listeners, you guys can like submit new topics that like you want to talk about if you ever came onto the show or you want other people to talk about. And you can also sign up to like try to be on one of these episodes. And I'm never going to be like, no, you can't be on this show. But I want everyone to be able to have a chance to just come on the show, say what they want, have like a bunch of people listen to it, or no one really, because I don't know who's going to listen to this inaugural episode and know that there's more coming. So, in that regards, that's the podcast, Master of None. And if you don't understand it by now, it's Jack of all trades, master of none. Haha. I guess Aziz Ansari, famous Indian comedian, he also came up with a show of the same name, which I'd never heard about. I was just thinking one day, wouldn't it be cool to have a podcast called Master of None? Because Jack of all trades is already so easy to understand. But then Master of None, that's the other part of it that no one hears about. So I thought, oh, this will be interesting to do. And I've recently found out Aziz Ansari did a podcast not a podcast, a TV show with the same name. So I guess that exists if you want to check that out. I don't care. I've never seen it, but yeah, that's the podcast that I'm going to be working on. I'm Kalash Madula. This is Master of None. If you want to sign up to be on the podcast or just give me ideas, just talk to me, text me, whatever you want, and I'll be accommodating. Thank you so much for listening. Signing out.